He's right there. Holy, this thing came in so fast, and he's an absolute giant. Hello everyone, welcome back to actually a different game. This is not Call of the Wild, but that is a giant whitetail buck. And we just rudely got interrupted by a coyote, but if you look way over there, about 215 out, maybe 250 since they changed the render. That should be like a 160, 170s whitetail buck over there. And he looks just massive. It looks like he's actually feeding over there, pretty calm. But yeah, we're out here back on TheHunter Classic, and I literally just got to this location. We're way down on the south end by the towers over there. I don't really have anything to zoom in on them with, except for these binoculars, but we're going to try and get set up, see if we can't put out some calls, and get this giant whitetail to come into range. Okay, I gotta be honest with you, when I first saw the antlers from this buck stick up, I thought it was a shed antler, just randomly sticking out of the ground, and it would have been a really cool introduction to come back to the TheHunter Classic to find a massive shed. But then I saw it moving, and I saw that it was actually a buck. He is a high rack, so these bucks here, there's two different types of racks. One just kind of goes straight up, which is really, really cool, especially if you get like a 180 plus or 190s. The biggest one I've ever seen actually as a high rack is like a 198, I believe. And then there's another one, a wide rack. It goes up and out. So it's a really, really wide buck. And those bucks can get up to 200 plus. Those are actually the biggest ones that you can get. So we should probably check the wind. Looks like the wind is kind of blowing off to the right side. The thing about the TheHunter Classic is there's no actual wind gauge. So there's no way to... Is that another buck? It is another buck. I can tell from here. That is actually a mule deer over there. Looks like a 110, 115 buck. But we definitely want this big whitetail. Now, equipped with us, we have the carbon recurve loaded with tracers. And we have the camel pulsar loaded with tracers as well. Alright, so we should be within about 50 yards away from this buck. See, I just said yards. But yeah, I'm probably going to say yards. I don't know what I'm going to say actually. But we're going to put out a call here. There's a little cliff over there, like a little rock shelf. We're going to sneak over there and see where that tree is there by the power line there. We're going to try and get in that position over there. What I like to do is I put out one call right away, just to kind of get their attention wherever they're at. Sometimes they don't actually come in, so then I'll put out one more call. Kind of a longer call, and then I go and get into my position. So always put out a short call, get their attention wherever they're doing, they kind of slow up, and then I put out a longer call, and then that usually gets them to come in. Now we might lay on top of this rock, depending on how good we can actually see here. This is actually a decent setup. Slide over just a little bit more, that we can have kind of a broadside angle at him. But yeah, I think we're going to hang tight right here on this rock, and here he comes. Here he comes. Big old whitetail. Look at that buck. 155 to 175 score on him. So depending on how much mass he has and how many points and the length of his tines, I would say that's going to be like a 167 whitetail, which is a pretty good whitetail buck. Definitely a nice buck. Now the wind's blowing off a little bit to the right, so he should keep on coming. We're just going to take our time, be patient, and let him come right in. We will pull out our rangefinder here quick, get a range on him. He is 22 out right there, and he probably won't come too much closer, but we'll wait a little bit longer and see if he moves just a little bit more. Centered him, and he's down. So in case you didn't know, there's a new feature to this camel pulsar that came out here not too long ago, but the camel pulsar is almost always loaded now. Oh, I see a hog over there. So basically after you take the shot, it will reload, but then if you put your bow away and you pull it back out, it will be reloaded. Before this happened, you would have to, every time you would switch, you would have to reload your camel pulsar or reload your compound bow every single time, which is not very realistic because like in real life, if you shoot your bow, yeah, it's going to be empty, you have to reload it. But if you don't shoot it, you don't have to reload it, so you shouldn't have to. Alright, so there is a hog coming in over here, but I don't know where this other mule deer is coming from. So I think what we're going to do now is just head over here and pick up our big buck. He should be, like I said, like a 160, high 160, low 170s buck. So really good whitetail buck. And we will pick him up. We might actually get him mounted. We might get him mounted. Let's pick him up. And we made a liver, stomach, intestine shot. He scored 164.1. A very nice whitetail buck. Didn't quite think he would break the 170s, but still an awesome buck. Made a really nice shot on him with the camel pulsar. And yeah, I am pretty happy. What a nice welcoming back buck for the Hunter Classic. Now, it is pretty early in the morning, so a lot of times it's hard to get a perfect angle on them with the sunlight and everything like that, but for the most part, I think that's a pretty good picture. I think we're going to go with that. Let's do it. And this is all new to me here. Do you want to taxidermize or sell this animal? That's a good question. I think we're going to get him mounted just because it's our first hunt back to the Hunter Classic, and we got ourselves a mounter whitetail. And I mean, yeah, let's get him mounted for sure. Let's get him taxidermized. It's going to cost 8 EMs to get him mounted, and that is pretty awesome. We also have a hog coming in over here, and it looks like a doe. Let's just take a shot on this hog out here at about 72 out. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And we hit just a touch low, but I think we still got a decent hit. Maybe intested should take her down either way. Yeah, it looks like intested. So if you get intestine hit on a medium-sized animal, which would be either a deer or a hog, make sure you wait at least 20 minutes before you go and track them down. If it's an elk, I mean, you're talking wait at least 45 minutes to an hour in game before you track them down. They will go down, but make sure you give them at least that much time. Now, as we're waiting for that hog to go down, some of you guys are probably wondering why I'm out here on the Hunter Classic. Well, a lot of you guys were asking if we were going to come out here on the Hunter Classic again, and the truth is I wasn't planning on it because it costs so much money just to play all the time, and I definitely stuck plenty enough into it. Well, that is until it's free now. But for example, these tracer arrows that we're using, when I played the Hunter Classic, it cost 160 EMs, which would be $5 every single time I wanted to buy 10 tracer arrows for this bow. $5 for EMs for these tracer arrows. That was 160 EMs, but right now, these tracer arrows only cost 6 EMs. 6 EMs compared to 160 EMs. Not only that, I can buy 50 tracer arrows right now for only like 16 EMs. So, I mean, what is that, like $1.50? I can buy 50 of them. So I still use the GMs, but I literally just got back to playing the Hunter Classic again, so I'm still used to the EM thing. And the fact that I can get 50 tracer arrows for this thing for $1.50, wow. I used to have to pay $5 just to get 10 of them. And so, yeah, this is a pretty good reason why I'm back. Because I love tracer arrows and bow hunting. That's pretty much the main reason. Here comes the coyote. What if it was a male too? A nice male. Oh, it is a nice male. 42 to 48 score, 20 to 25 kg. A pretty decent sized male coyote. And he's about 30 yards out right there, hanging tight, but he should walk a little bit closer. These are very spookish, so you gotta be careful. Alright, we're gonna draw back. Top pin is 20, and... oh! He's hit pretty good, but... must not have been a perfect shot. So we got a body hit on that coyote as well, but with a coyote, they're going to go down a little bit quicker. And if you get a coyote with a bow, it doesn't really matter where you hit them. As long as you hit them somewhat decent, they're going to go down. But if you look over here, we found our feral hog that we hit from before. If you look in the middle, you can see that red thing. That is actually the tracer sticking out from our arrow in our hog. So that's pretty cool. A lot of times if you can't find your animal and you use those tracer arrows, these have saved me so many times on giant bucks where you can't find the next track. And in this case, you can actually see the track way over there, but normally you wouldn't be able to see that track. Normally you would just see the red in the middle, and that's how you know exactly where your animal went. Alright, here's our hog. Let's take a look and see where we did hit. Oh, we were just low. Quite a bit low, actually. I mean, realistic, we were about 2 inches low of the heart, but yeah, we were quite a bit low considering we're going for center of the lung. How far was that shot? Did we use the wrong pin? 74. We were holding for 70, and I think it dropped right below the heart. Oh, almost a 74 meter perfect heart shot, but we hit 74 meter and nothing. That's alright. And let's actually sell for 3 GMs. That's going to add up. Alright, so it's been about 15 game minutes now, and we waited to track down our coyote. Here he is down right here. We shot him actually up over there on the hill, so he probably ran, I don't know, like 150. But the point is, he's down, and we found him. Let's see where we actually did hit him. I don't know about that. That should have been intestine or liver. Definitely intestine. But anyways, let's pick him up. And it shows body. 47 score. Pretty decent sized coyote. We're going to get 67 GM for that. So that's going to be well worth it. Let's take a trophy shot just so we can see exactly where we did hit. A lot of times I like to check to see where the shot placement was. And I mean, that should have been intestine. It really should have. But anyways, that's not what's important. And what's important is we should be able to sell this guy for 68 GMs. Nice. Alright, so we got this big buck out here at about 150. Now we have a tree stand right here. We're going to try and work our way over there, see if we can't call this buck in and take a shot with the recurve. Alright, so there's our stand right there. We need to have the buck come right past us. If at all possible, it would be perfect if he came to right about here. Yeah, right here. So put out one call there and maybe try and wait a little bit. Oh, there we go. Perfect. And that is actually a different... That's the other buck from before. I don't think that we've seen this buck just yet. So we're going to go prone. And we'll try and get in the stand here. We have a decent wind. So hopefully they come into range. Alright, so we just got up into the stand here. And I have no sign of the bucks. Oh, right there. Oh, here he comes. Look at the size of that buck. This is actually a wide rack buck right here. So he could score 180 plus easily, depending on how many points he actually does have. But he looks 180 plus all day long. He doesn't have as tall of tines as I was hoping, but... Oh, there's the other buck behind him. Looks like a 110 right behind him there. Alright, so right now he actually went right behind this hill here. So it's going to take him a little while to come in. And by the time he actually does come in, there's a good chance that the call could wear off. So what we're going to do is hop down and put out another call. Yeah, because usually the call lasts for roughly 10 to 15 game minutes, but depending on how big the buck is, the buck could take a little bit longer to actually come into the call. So we want to put out another call just to make sure that he comes in. Alright, this should work right about here. Put out one call, wait a little bit, and put out one more. And that should bring him in. And we just got back in, and here comes our bucks. 2 bucks right there, and the other buck is sneaking in somewhere behind us here. But we have pretty good wind here, and both these bucks are coming right to us. I want to get a spotting on that big one just to see how big he's going to be. He could break 180s. Ooh, okay, so he's not going to break 180s. It looks like the max on him is 165. Look at the weight on this buck, 70 to 80 kgs, so he's a very small weight buck, but just massive antlers on him. I almost feel like I'm spotting the wrong buck, but there's no way that buck's going to go up to 160, 105 to 130 on him. This buck weighs way more than this buck. I think this buck here just doesn't quite have enough mass on him to break to get to 180s, but still a really, really nice buck. He's definitely going to be 160, 165, and he's actually about to walk right past broadside perfectly at 20, about 20 meters out. So we'll get our carbon recurve out, wait till he slows up. Now we should have a perfect shot. That will do, that will definitely do. Beautiful shot on him. And we have both bucks still coming in over here. And it looks like we actually have a coyote coming into the back. Wonder what that is. Maybe we can take a shot on this buck as well. Get some more GMs real quick. If we stand up, we might be able to take a shot because he is too far below us. Come on, stop. He's not going anywhere. Just be patient. He should come to a stop here. If he doesn't, we'll have to stop him. That should help. And beautiful shot on him as well. Coyote is there. That buck took off. I figured that that buck was a little bit too close for comfort, but let's check out this coyote here quick. Can we get a spotting on it? It is a male. You know what? Let's try and call him in. Let's try and call this puppy in. Kind of funny I call him a puppy. But yeah. Now what I'm doing right now, you should never do this. You should always go down and walk towards where you want the coyote to come to and then call. Because if you call right to the stand, he's just going to come trotting in right next to the stand, and yeah, you're not going to get a shot. He's going to bolt. But I think he was far enough away that we might be able to get him to come into this spot here. Is that a bobcat out there? Or a deer? No, it's a deer. Okay, so this coyote should come in. He should definitely come in. And if he trots right to us, we'll just have to take a trotting shot. I'm okay with that. Oh, he's right there. Holy! This thing came in so fast, and he's an absolute giant. We had to take a trotting shot. 54 to 60 on the estimate on that coyote. And, okay, so we called over there, so he was way past where we called from the first time. We didn't have any choice. He was about to come right underneath us, and he would have bolted. But that's a big coyote. And, wow, look how close he was. Actually, let's pick up the small buck first here. Got a spine right lung shot on him. And that's going to give us 57 GMs. I'm thinking this coyote has a chance of breaking 56, and if he does, he might be a mounter. Let's find out. 26k, 58.8, and he is definitely getting mounted. Wow, that might be my biggest coyote. Yeah, I think that is my biggest coyote I've ever gotten in the Hunter Classic. 58.8. I don't believe I've ever gotten a 59. I have gotten a 58, like 0.2. But definitely not high 58s. I'll have to look back and check on it here soon, but that is a giant coyote. There we go. There we go. Pretty awesome picture and a monster coyote. As much as I really want to get a ton of GMs for that, how do you sell a giant coyote that's going to get mounted? Yeah, we're going to get it mounted. I'm sorry about that, but that would have been a ton of GMs. It would have been 131 GMs for that coyote. Wow. That was a big one. But this is also a really good buck too. Although we do have our high rack. So if this would have broke and hit 180s, I would definitely get him mounted. But since he's a wide rack and I don't think he's going to be 180s, we're probably going to sell him and get a ton of GM for him. Double lung shot on him at 18 meters out. And 162. Take a trophy shot on him. Yeah, he's a really good buck, don't get me wrong, but I mean the other one was a tall rack and he scored pretty much the same as this one, and for a wide rack you really need to get them to break 180s to be a monster, and so even though he's still a really beautiful buck, I think we're going to take the GMs. Yep, just didn't quite have enough mass on him. Beautiful shot though, as you look right there. That's the cool part about Classic too, it shows you exactly where you hit. He was quartering away, and we were up in the stand, and the arrow came down there. There's the broadhead. Just beautiful. Actually, I kind of want this picture here. I really wish I had the bow out, but you know what? That's a pretty cool picture. I think we're going to keep that for now. And we're going to take the 87 GMs for that. And we're going to head to the lodge and take a look at our mounter 168 high rack whitetail and our 58.8 scoring giant coyote. Alright guys, here we are back at our trophy lodge here, and this is our 164 scoring high rack whitetail buck. He looks awesome next to this 187 scoring drop time mule deer. So yeah, I am very glad to have him in this trophy lodge. But over here is our 58.8 scoring giant coyote. I just checked in all of my lodges. I have, I believe, 8 different trophy lodges. This is the biggest coyote that I've ever gotten, and it's the biggest coyote in any single trophy lodge at this point. So that means that this is the biggest coyote I've ever gotten in over 6 years of playing the Hunter Classic. And we got lucky. We took a shot on the trot. He could have easily bolted and he would have been gone, but luckily we made a nice shot with the Camel Pulsar out of the tree stand and smoked ourselves a giant coyote. And so yeah, pretty awesome. We ended up with 2 really good bucks and a monster coyote. And this is our trophy lodge here. This is my newest trophy lodge with our 403 scoring Roosevelt elk here. This guy took me 4 years to get, and that coyote took me probably like 6 years to get. But I haven't really been hunting for coyotes very hard. I've been hunting for big 400 plus Roosevelt elk for a really long time, and I've been putting a ton of work into trying to find one that big. Coyotes, I haven't really been hunting them that hard. So I mean, yeah, definitely this elk is a little more prized possession, but the fact that we got this giant coyote and this giant elk, pretty awesome. So with that, I think that's going to be a good way to end this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.